Hello and welcome to Workhorse Wrestling Network. You're gathered with us for the most chaotic show in wrestling recap history. This is all for
Nawt.
Nawt.
I guess it's a little bit better than it was last time. I guess I was it was late, a little late in my queue. I wasn't sure when my queue was coming in, so sorry for the delay there between whatever. But it gets a little tighter every week. Maybe at some point we'll actually have it the right way. So let's see, Raw and NXT this week. Raw from Monday, April 17th. Right? Is that right? Or 18th? 17th. 18th. Let's see. I'm looking at the wrong calendar here. Yeah, 17th. Why does it say 18th on my? Oh, I see. Because that's when the article was. All right. So let's see.
We,
Overall, go
we
ahead.
started off the show with the Bloodline and the Judgment Day together.
Yes. Sorry, I'm looking at NXT. I'm like, why does it say? Why do I don't say Gallus and the Dyad? That's not right. He's talking about the Bloodline. Yeah, because I'm looking at NXT. Yeah. So they came out and they made a little deal, I guess, where they're each going to handle each other's problems, right?
Bad Bunny, Rey Mysterio, and then you got Sammy and KO.
Right. Yeah, the Bloodline would basically handle LWO for Judgment Day, and then Judgment Day would handle Sammy and KO for the Bloodline, right?
Yeah. This is going to continue going down until Randy Orton comes back.
You're probably right. Any idea on when that is? I just saw something, but I haven't seen anything as far as when he's actually coming back.
No, but I did see a meme where it said if the Bloodline was up against 2009 Bald Orton, they'd all be tied to the ring ropes and they'd all get punts to the head.
Yeah. I might be here for that. Not all of it, but definitely the Roman. Let's see. That led into Solo and Ray, right? That was the first match. Solo beat Ray. Um, Anything of note in that match that you wanted to point out, per se?
Not that I can think of. I'd rather talk about Randy Orton some more.
Let's see. My notes show that moved on to Maxine Dupree and Chad Gable. Continue to battle for the affections of Otis. Let's see. Then I got Bianca Belair and Dakota Kai. Is that right? Bianca beat Dakota Kai, which was a good match. I mean, they're both good wrestlers. I mean, Dakota Kai is probably, well, she's my least favorite for sure of Damage Control. I
Yeah,
mean, I much
I
prefer
would
Bailey and
concur with
Io.
that.
Huh?
I would concur with that. Least favorite of Damage Control.
I don't know that she's necessarily the least talented or that she's the least whatever over per se, but she's just my least favorite. Um,
I mean,
but
I'm hard pressed to pick a favorite between Bailey and Io because they're both so great. They're both like top 5 of the entire company for me.
so I really, really like face Bailey. I don't like heel Bailey at all. So for me, almost anybody's better than heel Bailey, but almost nobody's better than face Bailey. So that's a tough like little. Right now, I like Io better just because I can't stand Bailey as a face. She just doesn't. I don't know. Let's see. So then we got a replay of Brock's sneak attack on Cody a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Cody tried to get his hands on Brock, but he couldn't do it.
Yes, that's right. Then that went into what? Bronson Reed?
Um, was it Brunson Reed? I got Seth Rollins and The Miz.
Yeah, before that, I've got Bronson Reed tries to convince us he's a nice guy. Judgment Day gets a visit from Paul Heyman.
Sorry, my notes were half-assed. I did fall asleep during this Raw.
Who says they're trying to take care of business and they insist they handled theirs. Cody Rhodes is dressed for a fight. but the only one he gets tonight is a bout with 20 security guards. As Adam Pearce won't let him get to Brock Lesnar. Here we go. Seth Rollins defeats Miz by pinfall. So we're at the same point now. Sammy Owens, the Wild Sam Owens, and Riddle have a little discussion to try to get on the same page. I like the three of them together. I mean, I they're funny. I'm a Riddle fan. I mean, I'm not a huge
The Wild Sammy Owens, though.
yeah, yeah, the Wild Sammy Owens. I'm not a huge
That was just such a good dig.
I'm not a huge fan of like the super dumb stoner Riddle, but I like Matt Riddle in general. Let's see what else. Do a video package takes us back through Trish Stratus's turn on Becky Lynch. Anything you want to say about any of that?
I'd rather talk about Randy Orton.
Let's see. My notes next say we got Bobby Lashley versus Austin Theory, which ends abruptly as Bronson Reed attacks Lashley.
No contest.
Finishing with the tsunami, which is fine because obviously they don't want Austin Theory to take the L. They don't want Bobby Lashley to lose to Theory. And obviously Lashley and Bronson Reed is the feud, right? I mean, that's the next, which I'm kind of here for. I mean, I like it. It puts Bronson Reed kind of in, a bigger picture and a bigger feud with a main event guy. And
because Bobby right now is still capable of being put into a pay-per-view match against Roman, and they don't want to lose that capability for him.
100%. Yeah. And I think, Bronson Reed's a big, tough guy that makes Bobby look good when he beats him up. Or beats up on him. So yeah, I thought it was good.
There's not many people left that can challenge Roman, so they can't have Bobby lose because he's one of the few people that they have left that can challenge Roman.
Yeah, that's true. Let's see. Why are my notes? Oh, so then we must have gotten. I'm trying to remember. Did Trish come out live or something? Stratus says Lynch didn't give Trish
explain her attack on Becky Lynch. I did not care for this promo. I know everybody's big Trish fans. I like Trish too. It's just I did not care for this.
Then we got Cody backstage in his suit. Says he's ecstatic to be wrestling Brock. He's also confused as to what went down tonight. It's okay. I mean, Cody's Cody. He's a good talker. Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville defeated Candice LeRae and Michin or Mia Yim.
Yeah, I was kind of hoping that the Chelsea Green Sonya Deville thing was going to be done after Mania.
Well, I mean, I clearly it was supposed to be Chelsea Green and Carmella, which I thought was going to work well, but Carmella's still MIA. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I know she's been seen in other things like around the world in real life with her husband and stuff and on her, whatever. But as far as
I really thought that was going to be a very solid tag team too. Chelsea Green and Carmella seemed like a great pairing to me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see Chelsea Green and Sonya Deville as being. I'm not buying that. I'm not buying that team. I'm just not.
No.
Carmella and Chelsea Green was very believable for me.
So. Yes, it was for me too.
So
we had Nikki Cross at ringside.
But again, you got to remember, like, even despite last night on the Cookout, Sammy taking 800 tag teams, the WWE is light in theory on really good, especially women's tag teams. So, it is what it is. I mean, I guess if Carmella's not going to be doing something, they're convinced they want Chelsea Green in the tag team. I'm going to find some woman to put her with, and Sonya's hanging out there doing nothing. So I guess it is what it is. Like, she's the first woman in the catering line, so let's put her with Chelsea and do something until whatever.
All right. Now I want to take a moment and talk about what was, I believe, my number 2 draft pick from last night. RK Bro. Yeah. I mean, for real. Like, you got chill Matt Riddle, and then you have the sadistic, psychotic maniac that is Randy Orton, who would kick your grandmother in the face. Like that's his character. That's what he
Yeah,
does.
yeah. No, I mean, I guess my saltiness is because I didn't really think about the advantage of taking so many tag teams and thus removing other people off the board, which essentially is what it does.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is a strong strategy. I mean, if you take a tag team, obviously that other guy, both guys are then off the board, so you can't. There's still no Randy Orton or Riddle to pick. So yeah,
I'm
so
ready to see Randy back in WWE. Like if anybody can take the title off of Roman, it's to get Randy Orton to 15.
I guess. I mean, there's. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, when you say who else has they haven't really built anybody else up, but there's other people they should be building up. I'd much rather see other guys get built up, i.e., a Finn Balor, i.e., a Damian Priest, even a Kevin
Finn
Owens, a
Balor's gotten his match. Yeah, Damian Priest hasn't gotten a match against Roman yet, though.
a Sami Zayn again. Before
Well,
Randy Orton
they
having
were
to get
leading to Orton getting a match.
a
Like Riddle
15th
had gotten his
title
chance and
run.
Riddle failed, and Orton was going to get the match, and then he got hurt and he's been gone.
Right. No, I mean I get it, and it's hard when you have a guy like Randy Orton who is such a strong wrestler and has both the experience and the pedigree that he does, and all of his time behind him, and 14 championships under his belt. It's hard to keep him out of the main event picture, and at the
The
same time, I'm tired of seeing him with the championship. I just am,
the
even though it's been a long time. I'm tired of it.
the thing is that the last time I think that Randy would have lost, but now I think Randy might win.
Yeah,
But instead of getting Randy the last time, we got Finn Balor instead,
yeah.
which a lot of people hated that finish. A lot of people hated that.
Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't know how you get there with all these guys or whatever. I just think there's other guys that deserve to have a chance, at least in a title match or with the belt, before you put it on Randy Orton another time. But who knows? We'll see what ends up happening.
Well, I think
Uh,
that Randy gets it, and then Cody wins it from Randy.
yeah, yeah. I guess we'll have to see. I don't know.
We'll
We'll
have
see
to
what ends
see.
up happening when Randy comes back. Assuming that, yeah, at some point you're probably right. I imagine at some point Randy Orton will be champion again. Whether he takes him from Roman or not, we'll have to see him. And then let's see, that led into the Usos taunting the LWO, and then which basically led into Riddle, Owens, and Sami Zayn defeating the Judgment Day by pinfall. And the LWO arrives to neutralize the Bloodline in a show-ending brawl. A big old clusterfuck at the end of the show. Uh, I mean, people are people that are tuning in to watch this don't want to hear us be overly negative, but this was not what I would call a great episode. They had a couple good matches. I want to be positive over negative. I would say it's probably about a 7, maybe a 7.5 out of 10 overall of the show. Dakota Kai Bianca Belair was a good match. Solo versus Ray was pretty good. Um, I like Bronson Reed, so it's okay. The main event was what it was. I don't know. I mean, what did you think about the show overall? Is when is well, how many more episodes of Raw do we have before we have Backlash? This
Mm,
is this isn't the go home show.
mm-mm.
Backlash 2023 is when is it? May 6th. So we still got a few more weeks of Raw to build up to whatchamacallit, to Backlash. As Cody Rhodes called it, WrestleMania Backlash. You think that was a fuck up or what?
Hmm?
Cody called it WrestleMania Backlash in his promo. You heard that? I don't remember if it was this. Wasn't this week? I think it was last week.
Maybe
Maybe
that
on
was a joke.
SmackDown.
Maybe they were testing the waters. I don't know.
I don't remember who was on Raw or SmackDown. I feel like it must have been on Raw because that's where I've seen him most. But at the
Yeah,
same time, he's been, I think, on both shows, so I don't know. But he said it in one of his promos this last week.
you sure did. Everybody caught it and was talking about it online. Just like, are they
So,
calling it that again?
all
Is
right,
this?
all right. So I guess we can switch gears and move on to our NXT notes for this week. Let's see. NXT. So now my notes are right. NXT opened with Gallus and the Dyad and the Creed brothers all fighting in a big melee. It's funny how Raw kicked off in a shit show and NXT kicked off in a shit show. No relation, just funny how that happened.
Yeah,
So that was melee until everyone was split up by the referees and officials and so on, which ultimately led into Gallus versus the Creed brothers versus the Dyad in what was, I thought it was a decent match. I like Gallus, so I'm glad Gallus won. Um, I, you know, I want to see, I would like to see grizzled young veterans do something else. Um, I'd almost like to see him get away from WWE.
well,
Um,
that's what it sounds like. It's not. I think I heard that they asked for their release, but they were
I think that's
denied.
true. I think I did hear that. No, I think you're right. I think I did hear that they asked for the release. So I mean, I'm interested in that to see what they do.
Well,
Um,
I don't know what they're going to do with the Pebble if they don't have Schism.
yeah. Well, she she could be on her own. It wouldn't kill her to just be on her own. I mean,
Well,
she
I
can.
was just thinking it'd be weird if it was just her and Joe.
Uh, she could be a face in a tag team with Sol Ruka. There you go.
Honestly, I'd rather her being paired with Tiffany Stratton.
Yeah.
I think
You want her to
their
be a heel, huh?
personalities would clash so much it'd make it entertaining.
But you want her to be a heel, huh?
But there'd be two different kinds of heels. They wouldn't
I
be.
mean, I'm just saying you prefer Ava Rain as a heel over a face.
I could see them being the champions.
I mean, I could definitely see that if they gave him the right, booking and push for sure. I mean, I haven't seen enough of her yet on a consistent basis to really make what I would say is a fair assessment on her real abilities. She's only done a couple things actually in the ring so far that I've seen. So I'd like to see more of that. I'd like to see her wrestle a few actual matches, and get it, so I can get a better idea of what her actual talents are. But so, like I said, Gallus won. Let's see. Then we got a clip of earlier in the day. Dijak and Apollo got into a confrontation, which ultimately led to the making of their match as the main event of the match, or main event match of the night. Or was it the main event? Yeah. No, it wasn't. For the match later in the night. Let's see. Then what do we got? We got Nathan Frazier is, I guess, kind of back. Well, it's a promo where he's talking about he's not going to stop. He's moving forward. Put his recent misfortunes behind him. It was an okay promo. That led to your boy, Superstar Supernova 11, Noam Dar.
Noam Dar.
Noam Dar versus Mile Born. Dar lands his running kick for the win. That's all my note says. Winner Dar. I didn't even have here if it was a solid match or not. I'm trying to remember, and I just watched it not too long ago. So if I just watched it not too long ago and it doesn't stand out, then it probably wasn't overly solid. Anything you wanted to say about your boys' match?
Um, Noam Dar is one of the better cruiserweights you can find nowadays.
I would agree with that. I would agree with that. Without 205 Live or the Cruiserweight Championship, it's all of those guys have kind of a weird stuck in limbo type of situation because they don't WWE doesn't really know what to do with those kind of guys, and so they just kind of sit around, and yet they're also talented. There's a whole group of them. I mean, you know,
I mean, he was one of the most solid pieces of NXT UK, but is what it is.
yeah. And maybe he'll be a solid piece of NXT Europe if they ever actually kick that off. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
Then we got what has become probably one of my favorite parts of NXT, just because it's dumb. The Brooks Jensen and Josh Briggs stuff with the ladies.
For me, I still can't stand it. But he has an entire new wardrobe this week.
He
So
does. He's looking very classy, dapper this week with his button-down shirt and his slacks and his loafers.
that is
Uh,
the style. That's what's in.
that is the style. It is in. And he says he's his own man now. Doesn't want anything to do with Briggs or Fallon, and he's moving on with Kiana to do his own thing. Let's see. Why did my notes say Odyssey Jones versus ... Apparently, I missed the name of whoever Odyssey Jones wrestled next. But I know that it ended with Braun Breaker interrupting the match. He hit Odyssey Jones from the back, basically kicked him out of the ring. What do your notes say? Who did Odyssey wrestle?
Hold on. Let me get to it. I had accidentally closed out.
Oh, it's all good. It's really it was more for storyline than anything, I guess. I mean, Braun
Yeah, it
came
was.
out. Yeah, Braun came out and attacked Odyssey Jones from the back. Kicked him out of the ring, took the mic, basically started running down Chase U, and then Duke Hudson from the stands started talking shit back. And they have now set up Duke Hudson versus Andre Chase at Spring Breakin', which is a horrible name for a show. Next week, that is NXT Spring Breaking next week. Oh, sorry, Break In.
Chase
Not
U
yeah.
was Ozzy
What?
Jones wrestling against Chase U.
I don't think so. Maybe I don't even remember. Uh, I just remember the exchange. I remember the Braun part afterwards. Braun and Duke talking shit, and they set that
Randy
match.
Moss? Was it Randy Moss?
Randy Moss.
I'm trying to make heads or tails of my notes right now.
Let's see. Then we got backstage. We got Cora Jade double down in the heel promo, where she basically says that she's better than the rest of the women. In the locker room, Gigi Dolan shows up, and they're gonna have a match tonight. You know, we blasted Cora Jade as a face with the skateboard. That was a terrible gimmick. I guess she's a little bit better here as a heel. I'm still not really buying it. Like, oh, she's NXT's resident mean girl. Like, she just doesn't really strike me as that way. It feels disingenuous, even though I don't necessarily buy that she rides a skateboard because she never fucking rode it. That face persona felt more real for her to me than the heel persona does. So,
She just, I'm going to be completely real. She comes off a bit lame.
mhm.
She seems like a poser.
Both
And,
ways.
like,
Yeah, both as a face and a heel, she's come off that way now. So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. That's not good. It's not good. Uh, so let's see. They're gonna Gigi, like I said, Gigi Dolan came out and interrupted. They're gonna have a match later tonight. Then we go backstage to Pretty Deadly challenges the D'Angelo family to a no holds barred match next week, but it ends up actually turning into the D'Angelos decide to challenge Pretty Deadly to a first time ever NXT trunk match, and then they're gonna throw the trunk in the river. I guess is what he said, right?
well, I kind of feel like we just need Tiffany to tell her that she's not as cool as she thinks she is.
Cora Jade.
Yeah, I feel
Yeah,
like it needs to be said.
yeah. Let's see. So then we
Like,
got
if we talk about wrestlers named Jade, we're not going to think of her.
no doubt,
How
100%.
if we talk about wrestlers who were initialed CJ, we're not going to think of her then either.
That's probably true. Let's see. So after Pretty Deadly and the D'Angelo family work out there, have their little skit. We've got your girl Roxanne Perez versus Zoe Stark, which was an okay match. I mean, I enjoyed it. I like
Are
both of
you a
these
Zoe
women.
Stark fan?
What?
Are you a Zoe Stark fan?
Not particularly. I mean, I think she's an okay wrestler. I'm not a huge fan of her look, and I definitely didn't like the stuff that she did, the whole racial stuff that she did with what's her name. Uh,
I mean, my favorite thing about her is I believe drunk guy JJ said it, or sober guy JJ,
uh,
however we're referring to him as, but said that she looks like she's 24 and 42 at the same time.
yeah, I can see that. I can definitely see that. Um, I think she's an okay worker. I don't know what the future looks like for her, but I guess we'll see.
Mhm.
Roxanne Perez wins, and what's a solid match. Um, after the match, we get Indy Hartwell coming to the ring. She's trying to be, she wants to be a fighting champion and an honorable champion, and she realizes that whatchamacallit should deserve a rematch because Indy won in the latter match where Roxanne technically didn't lose the title or get pinned, so she wants to give Roxanne her a rematch and prove that she can actually beat Roxanne at Spring Breakin'. And then we get whatchamacallit. Tiffany Stratton, I'm sorry, interrupts them,
Yeah,
talks
your
shit about,
girl.
yeah, my girl, talks shit about both of them, and eventually works her way into making, well, it doesn't have to work her way. Indy's, a fighting face who wants to fight everybody. So you two want to both fight? Well, I'll fight you both. We'll make it a triple threat, and I'll prove that I deserve the title. So we'll have that triple threat at Spring Breakin'. I'm assuming just because of the nature of not probably wanting to play hot potato too much, that Indy's going to win here. Um, I don't know how many times Tiffany Stratton can compete for that title and lose without doing some sort of damage to her. But I don't want to see her lose a whole bunch. I mean, she's going to be NXT champion at some point, and you can't just have her keep losing. At least I think she's going to be. I mean, I don't see why
Mhm.
she wouldn't be. Uh,
Bianca Belair never was.
yeah, I guess that's true. I guess that's true. Uh, so let's see. So they're gonna have a match. They're gonna have a triple threat for the title at Spring Breaking next week. Then we got Von Wagner backstage with Stone. Blah blah blah. Wagner with a terrible Von Wagner promo. Then we got the Cora Jade versus Gigi Dolan match from the earlier segment. Cora Jade wins in what was, I don't know. It was a match, right? Nothing that you got to go back and watch for sure. Again, I didn't think either woman came out of this match looking any better or any worse than they did going into it.
Who did
Um,
Bianca lose the SmackDown Women's title to?
who did Bianca lose the SmackDown Women's title to? I don't know. I'd have to Google that. I'm not sure. This is why I'm very scared about name that superstar on
Right?
next Tuesday because CM is not going to take any mercy on anybody. It's going to be way harder than the ones that I did, I'm sure. And
Mm,
half of the stuff for the ones I did, I didn't know without looking it up. So I think I'm truly fucked on Tuesday, but we'll see.
I think I am too.
Let's see. So after
And
the
I'm the
match,
champion. I'm the champion, and I think I'm screwed.
Cora grabbed the mic before she could speak. Lara comes out in her smoke and stuff and speaks in her kind of formal, ethereal voice and says that she wants to have a match, and so they
Oh
will have
yeah, it
a
was
match
Becky Lynch. It was Becky Lynch.
at
SummerSlam.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, in like 23 seconds.
That was a 23-second match. Yeah, I kind of had that thought in my head, but I wasn't totally sure. I often get confused with the Raw, with the SmackDown, and the Raw title, like which one is which and when who loses what. So, because right now she has the Raw title, right?
Uh huh.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So, yeah, I thought that in my head I was kind of thinking that that was the SummerSlam where she lost in 23 seconds. That was the one that really pissed me off, in fact, because I still think that's a
Hmm.
shitty thing to do. Let's see. Then we're back to Brooks and Jensen at Fallon Henley's Family Bar. They walk in, talk a little bit more shit, and then they ask them. Jensen challenges Henley and Briggs to a match next week at Spring Break-In. So we're gonna get an intergender match at Spring Break-In. Let's see. Then we've got Cruz versus Dijak, Apollo Cruz versus Dijak, which is the match that from earlier segments. Um, Solid match, probably the match of the night, in my opinion. I thought this was probably the best match of the show. I like both Apollo Crews and Dijak. I, I I thought the spot where Dijak moved out of the way of Apollo's move and then caught him with the choke slam from his back was kind of dumb. I didn't really like that spot, but I do like Dijak. I think he's a good wrestler. And I'm a huge Apollo Crews fan, so I enjoyed this. I thought this, like I said, was the best match of the night. Dijak won. Um, After the match, Dijak went to attack Apollo, but Ilya made the save, and then Ilya and Dijak kind of get into it, and we're going to get Ilya and Dijak. Not at Spring Breaking yet, but I'm imagining that's the feud here is Ilya and Dijak. So, which I'm here for. I mean, Dijak is similar in stature, height, size wise to Gunther. And Gunther and Ilya had some phenomenal matches. Now, is Dijak the wrestler that Gunther is? No. Do I expect it to be as good as Gunther and Ilya? No, probably not. But just the dynamic of the size of Dijak is similar.
Dijak had great matches with Keith Lee.
He did. Dijak's had some good matches, a lot of good matches in the past, but he had a great feud with Keith Lee for sure. So there's no reason to think that his feud with Ilya won't be good and exciting. Then we had the main event match of the night, not the last segment of the show, but the main event match of the night, which is Wesley versus Drew Gulak. I'm sorry, Charlie Dempsey, who reminds me a lot of Toothless Timmy. He just has kind of that look to him as well as that style. Um, Gulak was in Dempsey's corner. You can tell Dempsey's, you know, a student of Drew Gulak's. They have very kind of similar styles. Um, I like Dempsey. I like that Pete Dunne, Zack Sabre Jr., with whatchamacallit, the other guys that I mentioned, Toothless Timmy, that kind of very technical, very catch as can style of wrestling. I really enjoy that
Yeah.
stuff. So I like Dempsey. And I thought him versus Wesley, contrast of basically high speed, high flying was a good contrast. Thought it was a good match. Wesley wins, not a surprise. At this
Uh,
point, I'm not sure who Wesley is going to lose to. Um,
I think Dempsey could have a really good match with Matt Riddle.
yeah, Riddle's another one of those guys, highly technical. Yeah. Then we get D'Angelo again talking with Stacks about the trunk match. Blah blah blah. Then
Yeah,
we have.
that trunk match should be fun. I don't know if it's going to be good, but it should be fun.
Yeah, it should be fun. I mean, I like both Pretty Deadly and the D'Angelo family, so they all are good wrestlers and they're all exciting. So both tag teams are really good, so it should be a good match. And like you said, if not good, at least exciting. Should be fun at minimum. Then we have the last segment of this week's NXT, which was the Grayson Waller effect, where he has Carmelo come down and basically, ask them a bunch of questions about talk some shit and have a live promo battle before their match. At is it gonna be? Is it at Spring Breaking next week? No, it's gonna be. We don't know yet when they're gonna actually have their match. They haven't announced that yet, right? I'm trying to see here. I didn't see that. No, I don't think so. And it ends with Carmelo Hayes tossing Grayson Waller's sneaker on the power lines. So Grayson Waller can't do a shoey. And that brings us to the end of this week's NXT. I don't know. I thought this show was a little down for me. I thought this was probably like a 6.5, maybe a 7 at most. Like I said, I thought the best match of the show was Dijak and Cruz. Other than that, I didn't think there was a whole lot to talk about. What about you?
Uh, Odyssey Jones and Braun Breaker
Yeah,
were noteworthy to talk about.
yeah. I guess we've got some matches going into spring break in next week, which again is a terrible name, but should be at least a fun show on paper. So, if you don't got anything else to say, I guess we'll wrap it up for this episode of All for Naught. Yeah, check us out if you're new and you're listening. Please comment in the comments below. This is pre-recorded, so we're not live. If you're watching, you can try and chat, but we won't be there. But please leave your comments below. Love to hear what you got to say. Anything you want to comment on Raw or NXT, or comments on the show or to us in particular.
I'm
Let
going to
us
say that
know.
any comment would just be for not at this point.
There you go. Um, and then um, if you're new, please hit that like button on this video. If you're new, please subscribe. Hit that bell to be notified every time we drop new content. We are live every Tuesday night at 7:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for the Cookout, where we talk about all things cooking up in the world of professional wrestling, and usually have some sort of random topic that we've come up with to give us some sort of guidelines for the show.
We do a
And
show for Dynamite, but we actually like to enjoy Dynamite.
that's right. And then we usually drop this on Tuesdays, although I think we might be making a permanent switch to Wednesdays. For me, Wednesday is a better day to do this because it's a little more time than trying to cut it in right at the end of NXT and before the cookout on Tuesdays. But hang tight, we'll let you know for sure if this time changes or not. Otherwise, we will be dropping not on All for Not on Wednesdays. Then we're back live on Fridays for Friday Night Fights with Sammy and Anika, who do SmackDown, and then me and CM come on and do Rampage. This week there won't be Rampage on Friday night; it will be on Saturday night.
But
So as
SmackDown's still happening on Friday.
SmackDown is still happening on Friday, so join Sammy and Anika for our regular Friday night fight SmackDown watch along, and then join us on Saturday on
Yeah.
our channel for Rampage when it goes live. But also join us on the True Heel Heat Twitch channel this Saturday for GCW. We will be doing a watch along that starts before. That starts at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time before
5 p.m.
Rampage. 5 p.m.
Pacific.
Pacific,
So 7 p.m.
your
our
time.
time. And what
Correct.
time is Rampage?
I want to say they said it was 8:30 my time, but I'd have to check that, which would make it
8:30
11:30,
your time.
which would make it 10:30 your time. But let me double check that real quick. Hold on.
Okay.
Rampage.
I got plans on Sunday, so I was a bit worried and messaged in the group chat today about, hey,
Right.
what time is the GCW show? And I was so happy when you said, no, it's on Saturday. Thank goodness.
Let's see.
I mean, my plans on Sunday are at 2 p.m., but, my family's wild. I don't know if I'd be back by 7.
That's the April 4th episode. Okay, so that's not the one I'm looking for. Let's see. Why won't it tell me? It doesn't like my. It just keeps because it's a live one. It's not. Let's see. Okay, so I don't need that. I just want the match card or match time. Match card. Let's see.
I'm going to Google it too. I'll see if I can get it for you.
All right. Rampage, TNT, March 23rd. That's not right though, because it's not going to be March 23rd. It's supposed to be April 23rd. Yeah, I'm having a hard time finding it. Maybe you'll have an easier time finding it. But needless to say, we will be live on Saturday for Rampage after GCW. We'll be doing GCW watch along on the True Heel Heat Twitch channel, so join us for that. And then we will switch over to the Workhorse Wrestling Network channel, YouTube channel, to do the Rampage watch along. So
It says 10 p.m. Eastern.
So 7 p.m. Pacific. So it'll probably start in the middle. We'll probably have a little bit left of GCW to do on Twitch, and someone's going to have to switch over and do Rampage on our channel. So check both those out. And until next week, we will see you next time. Peace.